Warm up and prep. It's very important. Think about what you spend time on. The other day, we filmed a video of 5 of our favorite preparatory drills. We're gonna throw a couple other things out there that you can use here as well, but today we mostly wanna talk about the intent. So when we give some of these tests or these challenging movements, it can be kind of confusing because A, we're not looking necessarily for maximum effort. And what I mean by that is we're not looking to pre-fatigue you. We want it to challenge you, challenge your position, challenge your core strength and stability, but not so much that it takes away from the workout you're about to do. So remember, we have to be mindful when we do it, but we're not trying to gas ourselves out before we train. We're trying to prime the body. Secondly, on that note, it's very, very important not to try to get through the repetitions as quick as possible. If we laid down here on the floor and did an overhead kettlebell dead bug drill and we gave you 10 reps, we're not trying to do it for time. Counterintuitively, it might be better if we did 10 reps, if we could even perform it, as slow as possible. In your warm-up, we're not warming up our lungs for a sprint on the bike, right? In your warm-up, for your core and your movement prep, it's imperative that you slow down and smooth out the drill. When you shift that mindset, we promise you're gonna get a lot more out of it. Think about what you're spending time on. Maybe for fun, grab a notepad and write it down, drop notes in your phone the next time you make it in a train. Do a little time study. If your shoulders are doing really good and you have great shoulder mobility, your lungs are doing good, you have a lot of cardio prep warm up, ankles are feeling good with the floss, you're spending all these time in different areas, and we have to be efficient after work or first thing in the morning so we can hit the WOD and get out of here for the day. But think about how much time you're spending teaching your body to maintain, or if it's new to you, even learn what a true neutral spine position is, and warm this up for optimal performance in your workout. To start, we're just gonna lay on the ground and make sure we understand the difference between breathing well with our respiratory muscles, not our secondary respiratory muscles, with a kettlebell, and make sure we understand how to brace with that kettlebell as well. Then we'll switch to a seated tactile drill, making sure we can perform the same things in a seated position. Then we'll move on to a squat test, and no, we're not talking about maxing your overhead squat, your front or your back squat. It's actually a test that might humble you when we strap the belt on to check and see, did we warm things up properly? Now can you use them with your belt for better performance? And last but not least, we'll head to the turf or outside, strap up with the sled, and add some more dynamic movement. So first up, grab a bench and a kettlebell or dumbbell. You can also do this directly off the floor. It's totally fine to do it there. We're gonna find ourselves in a dead bug position. If you need to regress this further, put your heels up on the bench and lay flat on the floor. If you have any low back pain or tight hip flexors, that regression can make things easier for you to find a nice neutral spine, neutral lower back, because it takes the pressure off the hip flexors. Now, our goal here is not to force this. And I have to highlight that again and again. We've seen so many athletes from CrossFit to powerlifting, strongman, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, you name it. We all train and we have very strong cores, and sometimes we're intent on the movements we do. This is your chance to down-regulate your system before you hit that hard WOD up on the board. So remember the purpose of this. We're separating breathing from bracing. We're learning how to maintain those two together in a slow and controlled environment, because the workout may not always be slow and controlled. So if you can't master it here, how are you ever gonna be good with your gear on? So once we lay down, again, I'm highlighting we're nice and relaxed. However you want to hold the weight, dumbbell, kettlebell, I prefer this, even though it's a little pokey, over something like a medicine ball because it provides better feedback to my stomach. So first, I'm just breathing. In and out. Nice, full breaths. Notice how I'm not forcing it. This isn't how strong can I breathe. This is just fill your belly. And if you haven't seen some of our other content talking about the anatomy and how these muscles work together, make sure you go check it out. Because this is a 360 expansion. It's not just, can I move the kettlebell and arch my back? The kettlebell is going up, my obliques are expanding, and I'm pushing my low back into the bench with my breath. I prefer time over reps, but after 30 seconds, a minute, maybe 10 reps, we're gonna switch and just brace. Yes, it's the same musculature, but I'm doing so without breathing. A lot of you will have the tendency to breathe, tighten down, maybe your head even comes up because you're crunching into position. Remember, to start, I said stay relaxed. Just brace. It's not even a hard brace that's fast. It's just expansion of my core musculature. After a couple reps there, when I feel more primed, then I'm gonna brace and breathe into that brace. I really like to think about breathing through a straw. Brace. If you're struggling with this, cut a straw in half, bring it to the gym, actually put it in your mouth, and practice breathing through that straw. Breathing in and out into a balloon can be helpful as well. One more time. Brace. Breathe into the brace. You might have seen the kettlebell raised up a little bit more. Brace. Breathe into the brace. Now the hard part is going to be learning to maintain this. A lot of you would struggle talking here, getting more air in and out, and we're all gonna find a point where our endurance runs out and we have to relax. What we're trying to avoid is learning a brace, good breath, and you can hold that until you run out of air, and then you have to pant and breathe. All right, we checked off that new skill of bracing, breathing into the brace, and maintaining that, finding intra-abdominal pressure, or that fancy term IAP. A lot of people will say that's a brace, right? Those terms sometimes kind of roll together, but just so we're clear, we're looking for omnidirectional 360 expansion with our brace, with our breath, and then combining the two. Brace, breathe into the brace, maintain that. Now we strap our belt on top and our performance goes through the roof. So next up, let's look at it from a seated position. Gravity is now affecting me slightly different than laying down. For most of you, that probably won't change things unless you're severely hunched over or sitting here with an arched back. Because of our rib cage and pelvis alignment, that changes our musculature. More on that later. So sitting here, we're gonna grab ourselves in the obliques and in our core, right in our abs, and we're gonna test the same things. Brace. Notice it's not a breath. I'm not combining them. Brace, 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 breathe. Breathe, brace, breathe into that brace, maintain that. You can check a couple other points while learning to breathe in and out. Lastly, you'll see in some of our drills where we're even testing our ability to maintain this newfound skill with our belt on and a kettlebell or a plate and a strap, it's imperative that we check the QL. I'm not directly on the spine. I'm not directly on the erectors. I'm in that soft spot right here. I'm checking the same thing. Brace, 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 breathe. Brace, breathe into that brace, and again, maintain that over time. Coaches or training partners, if your clients or your training partner is okay with it, it's really beneficial for you to get hands-on. Just remember, there's a lot of ways we can cheat this drill. If I extend my back, probably don't want to do that in my squats or my deadlifts, it's gonna put pressure into my fingers and feel like I'm learning to expand. Similarly, if I crunch forward, my hands are gonna feel like they're pushing out in the back. It's not. Remember, everything we're doing to this point is while maintaining our best neutral spine. One of the best tests you can do for yourself, squat, deadlift, multiple different movements. Today we're gonna demonstrate it here in a squat. Have your belt on. We'll take our strap, run it through a kettlebell, a small plate, even a dumbbell is perfectly fine. And we'll see if maintaining our IAP, our intra-abdominal pressure, can we hold this kettlebell up with our brace alone? And if you think you're good at doing this, you might be humbly surprised by a 5 or 10 pound plate, and that's okay. It's a very powerful tactile cue for you. Key though, we can't strap our belt down as tight as we want to artificially hold that. That's gonna cause me to breathe up into here, move my rib cage, and more importantly, it'll make me think I'm really good at holding that up when it was all the belt. Any of our athletes, we should be able to slip a hand in there, or if we're testing ourselves, we should be able to slip a hand in there and should move fairly easily. Now when we brace, breathe into that brace, it should be fairly well held and take some work to get it out. So step one, slide this underneath for me. Without any bracing, we should see that this will slide on its own. Good, now brace, breathe into that brace, hold that for me. A great test, how good are we doing while maintaining that? So the ultimate goal while testing is to maintain tension into that deadlift strap while we're squatting. And anywhere in that squat, at the bottom, relax and stand up. If we relax that core and stand up, obviously the weight's gonna fall out, giving us direct feedback that we lost that pressurization. Now we'll test the oblique. Very important to be able to test the front quadrant, the side quadrant, and the back that we're about to go to. So you can see there is some play in here. It's not all belt locking it down. Good, go ahead and brace for me. Take it away and we'll hit some squats. Again, if pressurization is maintained, you'll have little to no movement with that weight. Once you master a smaller weight, go ahead and bump it up. Low back placement, we're gonna be right to the side of that erector, right there in the middle of that quadratus lumborum or the QL muscle. Go ahead and brace for me. This one can be very challenging. See if we can unrack and walk it out. Very nice. See a little bit of slippage there. One of the other things you'll see, stand tall for me, if we overarch our back, so arch, before we go into the squat, that'll happen. All right, grab your belt and let's head outside or to the turf for one of my all-time favorite bracing drills. We're actually gonna pull a sled and check on that brace. Sled drags, checking your core. Everything we talked about still applies. If you get tired and you arch your back, you're gonna lose pressurization in the front. If you start huffing and puffing and you can't breathe here while maintaining pressure, the strap is gonna slip out. We're gonna check front, we're gonna check side, and we're gonna check the back. So first, we're gonna set our brace, we're gonna breathe into that brace, maintaining tension into the strap, and then slowly apply pressure and take a walk. Brace, push, 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 push. We're gonna see how far we can walk for while still making sure we're breathing in and out. Next up, let's take a lateral walk and check that oblique. Good, remember we're expanding 360 on all sides of the belt, maintaining that while we breathe in and out. Again, while testing the back, It's important not to be right here in the middle of the back. Because of that dip next to the erectors, it's going to be very challenging to hold. We also don't want it to be directly on the erectors, just slightly off the side there at that QL. Let's do it. Let's take a walk. Slow, steady steps. Push, 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 push harder into your low back. Keep pushing right there into that low back. Breathe in and out into that belt. One of the reasons we really like this drill, when it's nice outside, you might already be out here with the sled anyways. Take advantage of that 1 or 2 extra trips up and down or inside the gym in the turf. Again, without pressurization, this moves pretty easy. Brace, breathe into that brace, and take a walk. We should be able to talk while doing this. Breathe in and out, maybe even go for a little jog. Stay tuned for more exciting information on how you can maximize your performance and your gear. If you like what we're doing, go hit that subscribe button.